Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Little Trap here. Coming at you with game number 4 of the fourth place match. I've had the third and now the fourth game of the fourth place match. A lot is on the line here for Yellow right now. He is going to be, well, first here's Reach, the teal Protoss in the top right. And Yellow is going to be the yellow Zerg. Finally! In the top left. Yellow's the yellow. Nice. Yeah, so a lot is on the line here for Yellow. He needs to win this, and they're showing some stats here for the Pelennor map, by the way. Look at that. Zerg versus Protoss, 1-4. 1-4. You know, only been a few games on this map, and one of those games, I think, was that one of these games? Was that Yellow versus Reach, I think? I don't remember if it was on this map. But yeah, so basically if Yellow loses this game, he's out. He loses to fourth place, which is still a significant accomplishment. Still a significant accomplishment. But you know what? When you get that stand at the Olympics where you have the medalists stand up in front of everyone, there's a gold, a silver, and a bronze medalist, and no one pays a whole lot of attention to fourth place. It's a significant difference between third and fourth. And of course, as we discussed before, it's also a difference because you don't get a seed into the next round of 16 in fourth place. You still get into the Challenge League or whatever, but or the dual tournament, whatever the next step below the round of 16 is, the round of 24. But we don't get that seed directly in, so you have to fight through an extra round of battles. And this is interesting. We got a gateway going on here. Reach says, you know what? I've been going double gateway to start every single game. It's mostly worked out for me. I'm going to try it again. Curious if we're going to see the same situation here. Now, this is a different map. This is a map where it's going to be really difficult for either player to take an expansion. You know, we thought the up ramp behind expansion was difficult to take on the previous map on Bifrost. Here on Pelennor, it's even harder to take. Unless you take your little half expansion, which is just 4 piddly mineral patches. Yeah, you heard me, mineral patches. I called you piddly. And again, for that reason, it makes sense for you know, in this case, it's hard. Is he gonna steal? Oh no, that's his own base. Never mind. I was like, is he gonna steal the gas of himself? Wait, because I saw that probe hovering near the gas geyser. And so this is interesting. We have Yellow has gotten enough gas for the speed upgrade. He's pulled drones back off of gas, back on minerals. Spawned a bunch of Zerglings out here. And are we going to see a bit of an attack is the question. He's actually running that drone home. A second hatchery in his main? Oh, that's interesting. He's not even putting it at the little, the piddly patches. He's putting it in his main. And obviously this is to make it more defensible, so you can have one sunken colony that would protect both of his places, I guess. But he's killed that probe, and now he's running his Zerglings across the map. Now, is he going to create more Zerglings and go for an all-in attack of some kind here, or is he going to just run them across the map to put pressure on and try and get his economy going? That's what we're going to find out momentarily. Probably he's going to go for his economy. Oh, this is interesting. He's actually sending Zerglings around the map. What is he? Is he looking for hidden tech or proxies or something like that? He might have just been looking for... It's interesting. I'm not sure where those Zerglings were going. At first I thought that he was going to be clever and he was going to go and check for other expansions around the map, because it is so hard to take your kind of natural on this map that I thought maybe he would you know, look for another expansion somewhere else as a hidden expansion. And so I thought at first that's where the Zerglings were going, but that's not what was happening. Stargate going down in the background. And so this time he says, you know what, Yellow keeps going for Mutalisks, keeps catching me off guard. I don't have a way to deal with it very easily. Instead of going for lots of Zealots early on and then getting caught with my air down, I'm going to go for those Stargate pretty early instead. And he got the gateways first. So, you know, he did spend a decent amount on those gateways. This is not your well, I was gonna say this is not your grandfather's fast expand, but it was grandparents of StarCraft didn't fast expand. They would get 2 gateways instead, so that's what Reach is doing. So anyway, we do have I think the probe got in there and saw the lair, but I don't think it stuck around long enough to actually see the Hydralisk Den, and so we got a Hydralisk Den in play, going for lurkers again. I mean, this is kind of what he's done too. Like, he's gone for the air, but he's gone for lurkers into air each time. And so that's what we're going to see here again out of yellow. But all off 1 base. This is crazy. 1 base play. I mean, again, it's so hard to keep a second base, though. It's so hard to control that second base that I'm not super surprised. And he actually, that probe was going for the second base to see if it was there, is not going to see it. Man, in the semifinals, we saw 1 base carriers. And now here in the 3rd, 4th place match, we're seeing 1 base lurkers. This is 2004, ladies and gentlemen. And this Corsair is going to get in here and spot exactly what's going on. And say, now he's like, oh crap, okay, this is an all-in. I got to be careful here. He's got a significant amount of forces. He got a nice cannon in the back as well. 3 lurkers morphing nearby, and this is exactly what he needs. If he can get this Overlord and supply block, even for a moment, supply block yellow, that'll be a huge deal, because he is just going all in off 1 base. He's got the 2nd hatchery just for production, not as a base at all. He has not been droning up past the drones just in his main, basically. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 12 drones in his main. And now this is the response. This is the appropriate response. Getting a bunch of cannons. He knows this is an all-in. He knows he needs to defend this 1 attack. He's got this wall at the front. He's going to try and hold it. And the cannons are going to fire from behind. He's going in with a lot of Zerglings. I think he needs to focus down that cannon, though. I'm sorry, the gateway. But he can't. The lurkers are actually in a spot where they can be hit by the cannon. Now he's actually going to try to pick off that gateway from a distance and open up that door a little bit better, so that then he can run in with all these Zerglings. The Zerglings can attack the cannons. But without the Zerglings on top of the cannons, I don't know what he can do here. Reach continuing to actually tech behind this. He feels safe enough to get some tech units, or some tech buildings, getting a Citadel of Adun. Yellow still on 1 base. Still having his Overlords get harassed as well, although he has made a Hydralisk in his main to deal with that. And so it looks like Yellow has says, okay, well look, I had this all in, and then I looked at my cards, and they were bad cards. So now it's like, you know, it's as if he's trying to say, okay, well I went all in, and you had a better hand than I did, so now I'm going to take my money back out of the pot and try and draw some cards instead. Which you can do that in StarCraft. A little bit of a shout out to poker, since so many StarCraft players do end up playing poker. And look at this, these Corsairs are just going to work on the Overlords. There's only 1 Hydra there, 2 Hydras now. He's going to get 2 Overlords and then retreat without losing a Corsair. Took some damage on that one, but still, that was a significant haul of damage for those Corsairs to get 2 Overlords and then retreat. And that is going to slow Yellow down a significant amount. And again, so what he's doing is he said, okay, well, I'm going to use this force that is a threat for killing you, and just chill outside your base while I actually get a 2nd base of my own. And actually, it would probably be smart for him to even get a 3rd base, or at least get a hatchery in his main at the piddly pitches, the piddly spot, the piddly patches. But he's at least gonna have a 2nd gas. He'd really love a 3rd gas, but it's just not something you can do on this map very easily. So look at these Hydras. See, they have to run all the way around to try to get to the high ground to protect that Overlord. And now we're seeing Yellow's 1st-person view here. Is there a Dark Templar? There's a Dark Templar killing his Zerglings, and that's why we had the retreat. He saw the blood on the ground and knew it was up, even if he couldn't hear it before. And Reach has actually taken his mini expansion, and he's just teching up off of call it 1.5 bases. Now where is that? He killed off the Overlord. He killed off the Overlord in the natural, and now the Dark Templar is coming in here, but there's a speed upgraded Overlord that can come actually and help deal with this, and he's chasing that Hydralisk. The Hydralisk is just running around in circles, and that's actually really important because he needs the Hydralisk to combat the Corsairs, so that the Zerglings can combat the Dark Templar. And he actually gets the Dark Templar. Dark Templar's dead. Corsair needs to get out of there. Just do a little bit of a pecking away at this point. So yeah, Reach has now full saturation on his 1.5 bases. And look at this. Building cannons around his main base, preemptively expecting Yellow to do the same thing he has done with the Mutalisk follow-up. And look at that. Oh, this is beautiful. He runs in, he gets a surround on the Lurkers so that he can actually take out those Lurkers without taking too much damage on his Zealots. But there's another round of Lurkers. He's going to burrow them out here in a nice spot, not in the choke, but in a spot between his choke and his natural, so they can cover kind of both spots. And he's going to use the Zerglings to pin units in place and keep them away from the Lurkers. There's only a single Dragoon there. Dragoons, as Tasteless said in the ASL the other day, are basically a natural counter to Lurkers if you have Observers in play. But he's only got the one. And, oh, is he going to lose that Corsair? It looks like, nope, the Hydralisk got lazy and was like, yeah, you know what? It's too much work to do these last two shots and kill off that Corsair. So the Corsair is going to escape. Reach now looking to posture to take his 2.5 base, I guess, the upper ground natural that I've been talking about. But the Zerglings are trying to argue against that. The Zealots making a counter argument, quickly dispatching the discussion. But Yellow again though is going, you know, I keep saying this, but they call him the Stormzerg for a reason, and he is now going in off of the two bases, trying to go in for an attack. There is the Spire. He knows there's been Corsairs, but he knows he's killed some of them off, so there's not a ton of them. He also was pretty sure that he hasn't been producing a lot of Corsairs. So getting the Spire as the follow-up might be very effective. Now, is he going to go in with the Lurkerling first, though? And he is going to park some Lurkers at the ramp, going for the rest of the Lurkers over here. There's only one Dragoon still and an Archon, and the rest just Zealots. And, you know, Lurkers are really, really effective against Zealots if they cannot get a good surround, and that's what the Lings are there for, to make sure that there isn't a good surround. Oh, but there's High Templar in play. Those Lurkers are nice and clumped up. Nice, juicy target. You could storm 5 Lurkers with a single storm in the position that they are in. I don't know if he expects the storm. It may not be finished researching it, actually, and that might be why we haven't seen it come out yet. Now he looks like he might be trying to spread out his Lurkers a little bit more. That's what he's doing. But he actually loses some Lurkers. He's trying to desperately fall back and spread them out at the same time. But while he's doing that, basically as he falls back, he's burrowing a Lurker and falling back. And as the rest of his forces are falling back, Reach is going in and killing off the Lurkers that got left behind in a defensive position. And now the Lings are all dead, so now the Lurkers being spread out are a disadvantage against these Zealots. There are some good Lurker fire coming from above, but again, they're clumped up again, so the storm goes down. And there is a nice kill on 2 Lurkers. Did the Observer die, though? I don't see an Observer. Where's the Observer? He's suddenly not able to attack there. And the Spire is probably finished, so maybe we saw off camera, or maybe I just blinked and I didn't see a Scourge landing on an Observer or something like that. Because he suddenly fought back. Suddenly forced to fall back, I should say. Reach is. There's the Mutalisks in play. So he is going for the Mutalisk follow-up to the Lurkers this time, but it's kind of too bad that he didn't kind of wait for... He went in and tried to kill that natural, but Reach had too much stuff, and instead of just falling back altogether, he kind of fell back slowly and lost a lot of forces. Lost a ton of Zerglings, and lost several Lurkers as well. And Reach is really in a little bit of trouble right now. I was about to declare that Reach might be in very close to, you know, taking this third game and winning the series, or the fourth game in his third game and taking the series. But now things have kind of turned around, and Yellow has a bit of an advantage because he stopped this expansion from going up at the upper natural. He's caught this other expansion at the bottom right, which is currently not mining. So Reach is mined out in his main now, almost. So now, instead of it being 1.5 bases, he's at 0.5 bases. And if he doesn't get that second base up and running in the bottom right, or somewhere on the map, he's going to get overrun. And it got killed off. The Nexus is dead. The Mutalisks were able to polish off. Reach trying to get cannons up at this other base is going to get caught as well. And he doesn't have the forces to actually protect a new base. And so he's actually just trying to hide one. Or maybe he does have the forces to protect a new base. But it would be difficult, though, because most of his units are Zealots. And the Mutalisks are obviously going to be able to deal with them pretty well. Now we have these Zealots running into the main base. They say, well, we're not doing any good back at home, so let's go right into the Zerg's main base. He's actually trying to target down the Spire with a couple drones going after... I'm sorry, with a couple Zealots going after drones with another one. The Spire is almost dead. It's down to 60 hit points left. The Zealots go down, and he didn't actually target fire the Spire. If he'd right-clicked it with all of his Zealots, that Spire would be dead right now. And it doesn't matter anyway because he already has a bunch of Mutalisks out. Look at that. That is a huge, huge flock of Mutas. I don't know what he can do to stop that regardless. Even if he killed the Spire and you don't add a single Mutalisk to that, there's still like 14 or 16 Mutalisks in play. What are you going to do about that? He lost the Corsairs earlier. A little bit sloppy there. He might have Storm though. A nice Storm on those Mutalisks could change the tide of this though. Look at this. See, he can't... I was going to say he can't clump his mutas because the muta clumping kind of micro had not really been invented yet, but at the same time it might be a liability in this situation because if your mutas are clumped... Oh, he's going to catch an Archon! Is he going to kill it? Yes, he polishes off the Archon, going after the other Archon with Lings as well. And so yeah, we're seeing kind of like pre-clump muta micro here where he's trying to dive in and do damage. Oh, 2 storms go off. They do some damage, but it's not what he needed. He needed some huge... storms landing on a big clump of them. That's what I was saying. That's why like clumping, if he could do it, would be a liability in this situation because it would make it nice for a nice juicing storm. Look at this. This is insane. He's got almost 24 Mutalisks at this point. And the only hope that Reach has right now with half a base mining and no opportunity to get more bases on the map, you can actually see Yellow has eyes on a lot of the bases around the map with Overlords and Zerglings and what have you, I think. I think Yellow might even have a 3rd base in the middle as well. His only chance here... Archons are not going to be enough to deal with that many Mutalisks. His only chance is to somehow land a stupid sick Storm. And somehow kill off... He actually does run in with another group of Zealots and finishes off the injured Spire and the injured Sunken Colony. But in the meantime... Yellow finds that new attempt at an expansion and kills it off and is able to polish off those Zealots just with the reinforcing Hydralisks. Looks like no drones killed, no blood on the ground in the main base of the Zerg player. So now Yellow is just mounting for the finishing move. You know, this is the point where Reach is like kind of got his eyes closed and his character model is just kind of like bobbing around a little bit ineffectively. And, you know, the booming voice has just said, finish him! And right now, Yellow is just, like, doing the combo move. He's, like, up, down, left, right, BA, BA, down, right, attack, punch, you know, whatever the combo is. I actually don't remember any of the Mortal Kombat finishing combos. I actually never knew many of them in the first place, but I definitely don't remember the ones that I do. But that's what Yellow's doing right now, is he's just putting in the right combination in order to execute Reach in this game. And yeah, again, Reach has tried to get 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this is the 4th base. I could be wrong. It might be the 5th base that Reach has attempted to get and has been shut down before it's able to mine maybe even a single mineral by Yellow. So Reach is just, you know, he tried to get off kind of one base. And Yellow went off this 1 base attack, forced him to stay in his main. And then Yellow was able to, this time, expand and keep more of an advantage. And this time, the Corsairs were not a big of a deal. And he was able to transition into the mutas pretty well. Again, I thought Reach was about to win for a minute there when he polished off most of those lurkers. But then the muta follow-up was too strong this game. So, yeah, I mean, this is like one of the... Sometimes, like... The opponent will be near me and I'd be like, you know, trying to punch in the combo and I'd be like punching the air, but I wasn't close enough to them to actually do the wrong move. Because if you, oh, that's a nice storm though. 2 nice storms. But I mean, again, he's just keeping Yellow from going in and finishing off his front door cannons. But like, it doesn't even matter. And I think yellow might even be just baiting out those storms right now. Once the storms are gone, there's nothing to stop this Lurker Hydra combo with the Mutalisk to back up from just going in and stomping his base. Yellow, I believe, has the middle base. It's hard to tell, but if not, he's getting the bottom left base now as well. He's got this nice little contain setup where he can't storm his way out of this one because there's too many lurkers, and they're spread out well enough this time that they're not going to get stormed to death. And, you know, if he goes for Dragoons, Hydra Muta is going to take care of that. So, look at this. He's trying to... he's trying to shuttle units up to the high ground and sneak... When you have to sneak an expansion in your own natural, you are not in a good position at all. But you know, if you accidentally, if they were in the finish him phase in Mortal Kombat and you accidentally just punched them with a normal punch, it would like end the round. You didn't actually get the finishing animation, but so you had to stand a little bit away from them sometimes when you did the finishing animation, so that you wouldn't actually accidentally punch them. And that's what's going on right now. Oh, he's actually flying through a couple storms, but is he going to kill... He kills off one of the Templar before it can morph into an Archon. He's trying to kill off these cannons as well. The Hydras are coming in as well. The Templar maybe don't have enough energy, or they've cast all their storms. Everything's going to go down. There's a storm actually on the Hydras, but, you know, his piddly patches were mining out as well. And just try and try and try and try. And he was not able to... get a second base, so reach does go down, and I think that was kind of almost equivalent of yellow not quite pulling off the finishing move and just punching the guy for the end of the round, because it wasn't super spectacular, giant all-in with a bunch of mutas and lings and hydras and lurkers, but it got the job done, and Reach at least you know, realized that finally that he was out of it, and so it's going to go to a fifth and final game to determine who will get the seed in the next Star League and who will be eliminated and going home and going to have to go through all of the group stages and everything in order to get back next time. And wow, this has been a pretty crazy series because a lot of the games have all been a little bit similar in some ways, but it hasn't been, you know, one-sided like the Yellow versus Boxer semifinal was very similar every single game, but it was pretty one-sided. And this time it's been trading blows back and forth. Sometimes it works for Yellow, sometimes it works for Reach. The last game will determine who it works for in the series. Thank you for watching.